Am I the asshole for not allowing my husband into the delivery room?
Sick cunt.
No, we'll see.
Yeah, sick cunt.
What did he do?
Yeah.
What did he do? What did he...
Probably played Xbox in the fucking waiting room.
So this happened 2 years ago now, but a recent event has brought it to my mind. I'll have to start at the beginning. My 28 female husband, 28 male, and I welcomed our first child in May of 2018. I did not allow him to be present in the delivery room whilst I was giving birth. I just wanted my mother and the medical staff. I told him this when I was around 8 months pregnant and we were finalising plans. 8 months into a pregnancy, and that's when you decide to tell him?
No, I think, like, he knew, but it was more so, like, just so you know, you will not be present.
But it was, I told him this when I was around 8 months pregnant. I'm assuming up until then he assumed he would be there.
Oh, yeah, I thought she meant that she didn't tell him that she was pregnant. I was like, I think he was well aware that she was pregnant.
He looked shocked and hurt and asked me why. I just didn't feel comfortable with anyone other than my mother with me. He just said whatever and didn't argue with me. I know he was hurt because he told me to go to my mother's house for the remainder of my pregnancy.
Oh, bugger off. Sorry.
FYI, it was planned for me to go there anyway on the due week so I could receive around-the-clock attention, but my husband told me to go 3 weeks early. I understood he was hurt, so I left to give him some space. I do get, when it comes to that kind of care that you're receiving and you're in such a vulnerable position, that no one should ever feel like they are automatically entitled to being there.
100%.
But if there isn't anything more to this relationship than what you've described so far, and basically you have what you perceive to be a happy, healthy marriage, then I'm wondering why you would have a child with someone you weren't comfortable being in the room with you for that, because that feels like inherent incompatibility.
I will say, I still think sick cunt for saying what she needed and sticking up for herself in that way.
Yeah.
But you're right. If I was having a child with somebody, they'd be my rock, right? They'd be the person that I would...
You would hope so.
...lead
yeah,
to get through it. I don't know, maybe she's shy about her vagina. Doesn't want to be seen shitting herself or something like that.
But again, like, why are you married to someone?
I'm not saying that that's the kind of relationship that I would like, but there are, like, I know relationships where they still won't, like, do wee-wees and stuff in front of each other. And they've been together for, like, 10 plus years. So while I don't think it's the same, like, a relationship I want to be in, I don't know. I still think sick cunt. You think shit cunt?
I'm side-eyeing at this point.
As in to the relationship itself?
Just both. Surely you've got a reason here.
Oh, so you're,
because like
8
months, like she didn't tell him until 8 months in, less than a month away from giving birth, and now you are telling the father of your child, your husband, that you allegedly love and want to spend the rest of your life with and have a child with, that he's not going to be there. And it's like, okay, is there something nefarious within this relationship?
Like what? So that was genuine.
Like I don't know, but I feel like maybe it was a safety thing where maybe she only was kind of forced to tell him at the nth hour because she didn't feel safe to tell him before that. But then it's like, she is absolutely a shit cunt if that is not the case. Everything is apparently hunky-dory, and she's just dumped this on her husband out of nowhere less than a month away from giving birth to tell him that the woman he's chosen to spend his life with and have a child with is completely cutting him out of this for no understandable reason on his end, less than a month away from it happening.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If you're like, when I get married and have a child, no one is going to be there but my mother, I just do not, I will never feel comfortable having anyone else in the room for that. If he went into this knowing that, fair cop. Right?
So you don't have the issue with the request. You have the issue with the time of the request.
It's the lack of transparency.
Yes.
If you know you're going to have a job that takes you away traveling for months out of the year, then being transparent in exactly how much you are going to actively be able to contribute to childcare and parenting in the grand scheme of things when you are starting a relationship with someone should be made clear, right?
Yes.
But I can't imagine anyone actively wanting to go into having a child expecting to not be involved in the birthing process.
Yeah.
And so if that's something that you know you're never going to be comfortable with, then when you are discussing having a baby, that should be one of the first things you fucking say.
Yes, yes. Oh, see, I would have thought that you'd be so overwhelmed by so many other choices. You know, when you've got such an overarching journey that you're about to go on, that you think of absolutely everything except the actual fucking, like, big part of the journey. I thought it might have been something like, we've been buying the high chair, we've been doing this, we've been organizing, we've been doing
maybe it is. Maybe it is just I thought we had the conversation or maybe we did have the conversation and it was just he didn't take it seriously. Who knows?
Yeah.
I fucking hope it's something. I just hope it's not nothing.
Yeah. See, that's the thing as well. Like I said, I just get I get so surprised at what couples who've been together for a really long time will still not do in front of each other. So it could be something as simple as that, or it could be nefarious.
A few weeks later, I went into labor. My mother called the ambulance and went with me to the hospital. She also texted my husband telling him I was in labor, but he didn't reply. He didn't call or text either of us the whole time I was in labor. When I finally gave birth a few hours later, my mother let him know via text. He simply replied with, okay. He did not come to visit me or his child. I guess he was still upset and would come to visit us later. First time he did was when I was discharged from the hospital a few days later and he came to pick us up. He didn't even acknowledge our baby. I was expecting some kind of emotional first meeting between them. When I asked why he didn't even hold our child, he said that I'd already robbed him of a first meeting and that I wouldn't get to watch one. We sat in silence the whole way home. Fast forward 2 years and we are very happy with a toddler. My husband was still cold for a few weeks, but he came around and has been an amazing father. I was only reminded of this because his childhood friend and wife recently had a child. My husband and I decided on various names for our child and decided to pick the one we felt was most suitable. After our child was born, I suggested we used one of the names he picked. He refused and said we should use one I picked since I had full rights over the baby. I did and forgot this ever happened by today. I was only reminded because my husband's friend asked him for a name suggestion and he suggested one of the names he chose for our child. I was confused as I always thought we would save the other names for a second child. When I told this to my husband, he scoffed and said something along the lines of, "Did you think I'd let you stop me from watching another child come into this world?" I didn't say anything back. I feel like I hurt him a lot more than I thought by not allowing him to see our child being born. Am I the asshole? Are you fucking telling me that it really was a just cause situation?
Oh, see, here's the thing. I feel like you think shit cunt, I think sick cunt. You've had a kid. I've not had a kid. So I feel like you might take precedence.
It's just in a world where we are demanding men pull their weight, then that weight comes with an emotional investment. So to cut off the development of that emotional investment by cutting them off from some of these core parts of what it is to raise a child, I can't imagine that's just completely counterintuitive to everything the world is currently demanding of men. Step up. And then we've got the ones that are, and they're like, nah. Why? Why?
I do get what you're saying. I just think she didn't want to be seen shitting herself.
Well, yeah, but like if that's the case, you don't get married or have a child with someone like that. Especially, like, even just if only for the fact that you are putting yourself in an even more vulnerable situation. Because post-birth, not only do you have the core 6 weeks of recovery because you've literally got a dinner-sized plate wound, open wound in your uterus while it heals, but your entire system, nervous, hormonal, musculoskeletal, it can take up to 2 years to get back to what it was before. Ben would have to be helping me go to the bathroom after I gave birth.
Oh, yes. And I think, I feel like we're past the whole point of like them being disgusted by periods, and hopefully we're moving into the whole concept of when you grow old with someone, you know that you're going to be eventually wiping their ass or like checking their asshole for hemorrhoids or something like that. So
honestly, I don't think men think that far ahead.
Do you really?
There's a reason why so many 21-year-old Jadens are nothing but crosses on trees. Ew, there's an edit here. I've seen a lot of you mention how my husband kicked me out or ghosted me for a month. I just wanted to clarify, when he told me to go to my mother's, I didn't feel at all like he kicked me out. I just thought he needed some time for processing what I had told him. Well, that's healthy at least. I went willingly and didn't feel like I had to leave at all. Also, he didn't ghost me or go no contact in the weeks leading up to me giving birth. He didn't speak very much, but he came over a few times a week to bring food, clothes, etc. and check everything was okay. Edit 2. Just another edit after reading some more comments. A lot of you seem angry that my husband took his feelings out on our newborn child. This was not the case. After our car ride home, I remember hearing him cooing with our baby when I was not in the room. He never neglected our child and loved him from day one. One of the reasons I thought he was over my decision. Yeah, girl. He never had a problem with the kid. He specifically told you in the car that you were not going to get to witness their first bonding moments because you robbed him of them. And it was never about the baby, my good bitch. As for why I didn't want my husband in the room, the comments have pretty much summed it up for me. I didn't want him to watch me in such a messy state when I could be throwing up or defecating. I didn't really voice this to him when he didn't challenge my decision. I thought he accepted it and it wasn't necessary. I also never meant to exclude him from holding his newborn child or anything like that. I just didn't want him in the room whilst I was in labor. I fully expected him to wait outside and come in once the baby was out. However, I never voiced this to him. This was poor communication on my part, and I understand he was very hurt by this. Reading the comments, I can see I'm the asshole. I never asked him about how he felt, and there was a lack of communication between us. I absolutely will talk to my husband about this and potentially show him this thread. Some serious apologies are in order. Honestly, if you lack the maturity to be able to have your husband cope with that, you should not be married or having a kid. I can't. And you never voiced it to him, just never fucking crossed your mind that maybe you should clarify exactly what your justification was to ensure this man you've just pulled the rug out from under knew where he stood at all. Fucking hell.
That was nice of him to immediately accept. I hear what you're saying. I don't know, humans are messy. And then it did turn out as something as simple as, I just didn't want him to see me.
Honestly, and if there had been that clarification, maybe they could have gotten some sort of counselling pre-birth where they could have worked through that shit.
Yeah, or just like a 10-minute conversation between the two of them where it's like, that doesn't matter. Yes, it does to me.
Could have been something as simple as, can you tell me what you're thinking about what you want for the birth and why I can't be a part of why I would get in the way of that. And then if that had then come up, if they've been together long enough, especially like throughout their 20s, how old are they? 28 and 28. Okay, so 26 at this time. So you've been dating through your early 20s. Girl, if he's had to pick you up messy drunk, he's probably seen you shit yourself anyway. I don't know, at 20, they're still kiddies. And if they've dated since they're 20, they may still be kiddies. You know, when you had that one relationship and you never learn how to communicate, you never learn how, but despite this altercation, it seems like they're actually normally pretty good at talking things through and expressing. Honestly, based on how the description of this story, it seems to me like husband is well and truly checked out of his relationship with her emotionally.
You reckon?
And he's there for that
kid. Yeah. It's
like
I will agree with that
like
one. Yeah,
I will actively sustain this relationship for the purpose of making sure that the child we have gets everything he deserves.
But then it
from
goes
his
back
childhood,
to that thing of like, well, then do they divorce? Do they?
Well,
you know what I mean?
Again, like if everything is at a stable, happy standard.
Yeah.
Like it's not really a healthy dynamic, but at the same time, there's no real toxicity there because, well, she was ignorant up until now. And from his mind, it's I'm content and happy with this dynamic for what it needs to be because it gets me what I want for my child.
But while there may not be like actual toxicity there, like you've heard people who've grown up with parents who just didn't love each other and how much that can affect your ability to connect and have romantic relationships as an adult.
Yeah. But how fucking dense is this woman if she hasn't felt that?
Oh, yes. Yes.
So
that's
without
like, question.
If the mother was not feeling anything off, then is it safe to assume the child is neither? This guy may have been going to therapy this whole time and she doesn't fucking know because clearly they don't fucking talk about anything. It's possible that he's worked through it and he's like, I very much love my wife for the person she is and the life that we have and the fact that she's an excellent mother, but this is not a romantic love I have for her.
Yes. Yeah. And so you think that was enough to sever?
Oh, it fucking severed something. Yeah. The fact that was immediately there in the mind, it is never something he's forgetting. That is something that has fundamentally changed a core part of his being.
I don't know if you can get over that. Like, yeah. So I don't know whether you can sustain a relationship with that kind of resentment.
I would thoroughly expect that the day that kid turns 18, he files for divorce.
Oh,